So now we're going to take today in this class a bit of a review break here to help us get ready for the test you're going to get. I'm going to go first over the homework that you were assigned last class, which was group work 13. So I'm going to go to that right now. So let me share the screen here. And here we are. And I crossed off a bunch of problems on there we didn't need to do. So let's go through some of these. I'm sure you have this down, but I just want to make totally sure. We've got 6 different problems we'll do quickly here. I've crossed off the other 2 so I have more room. You realize that for a rational number between 35.62005 and 62006, if you add the 2 together and divide by 2, you would get this. Am I finished? I am, because that is a terminating decimal, which means it's rational, so that problem is all finished. All right, I really don't have to do anything else. Okay, if I go to the next one, all right, if I add those 2 together on my calculator and divide by 2, I would get 4.00621535, and that's a rational number also, so I'm all finished with that one. So I could make other rational numbers there if I wanted to, but why bother, right? Ask you to come up with a rational number that's between them, and you have. All right, and last but not least, the last one. Okay, if I add the 2 together and divide by 2, I would get this. And guess what? I'm all done there too. Don't have to do anything else. It's a rational number. I'm completely finished. All right, so now let's go to the irrational number situation. Let's do the first one over here first. Again, when you add these 2 numbers together and divide by 2, you get this. Well, for this particular one, I'm going to be lazy. And I'm just going to stick some numbers on here. 1, 6, 2, 8, 5, 3, 1, 9, 4, 7, ... If I saw this answer on your paper, I would realize that you had come up with an irrational number. It's all over the place. Let's go to the next one. Okay, for this one, I'm going to divide by 2 again, right? Add the 2 and divide by 2. Sorry, my numbers are wavering up and down. For this one, I'm going to put a couple numbers on there, 2, 8, 6, 5, 3, and I'm going to be lazy and simply draw an arrow. The Kellyism arrow says what? This number goes on forever to infinity. It never stops, and it's all over the place. So that's done. All right. So let's go to the third one number. Okay, I'm going to start way over here. 315.20305255. I'm just going to pick out any pattern I want, any numbers I want. How about 1, 2? So let's do 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1 followed by 3 2s, 1 followed by 4 2s, 1 followed by 5 2s, and 3 dots, ... That is definitely an irrational number showing a growing pattern, and it is between the 2 given numbers. I didn't leave you much room to do those, did I? So I figured I'd better do that. All right? So those 6 questions are finished, and you'll have 1 of each on the big test you're going to take very soon. Okay, now there are no other questions that I left uncrossed off here because they are not on the COVID Big Quiz 2, okay? So I've blown up the other problems to a little bigger size here, and there's nothing here I really want you to do for this quiz, and we can skip this one also. But I would like to just quickly zip through these two problems just to make sure you're comfortable. This, remember, is 739, 739, 739. It is 0, 6, 18, or 8, 0, 0, 0, 0, 3x, and 0. I think I've got a good chance at being able to add across here without screwing it up like the last class I did. But at any rate, 3x plus, it looks like it's 7, has to equal 0 mod 10. All right. What does 3x have to end in so that when it's added to 7, okay, it gives me what I need, 0 mod 10. Well, let's see. What number times 3 ends in a 3? Wouldn't it just be 1, right? So let's try that out, okay? So if it's a 1, if x is equal to 1, I get 3, I add 7 to it, I get 10, right? Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. I can see it already. You know why I could see my mistake? Because I know this bank routing number. It used to be a very big bank in the Buffalo area. This isn't 1 over here, okay? So let me erase this quickly and erase my error, okay? Get all this out of here. This shouldn't have been 1. This should have been an 8. So this is 18, which is 8. And when I add these numbers together going across, it looks like it's 14, right? Okay, so it's 3x plus 14 has to equal 0 mod 10. All right, and so my number has to end in a what? Has to end in a 6 in order to end up with what I want, right? So I want 0 mod 10. So what does x have to be? X has to be 2, all right? So this number down here should have been a 2. That routing number, 022 followed by 4 zeros and 20 is HSBC Bank. And HSBC Bank moved out of Buffalo. They said, you guys in these branches aren't doing us any good. We're going to go with the big money, okay? Guess what? They're coming back. They're beginning to open bank branches around the Buffalo area again. They've been gone probably 15 years. But, hey, you know, they learned from their mistake, perhaps, maybe. I don't know. All right, enough editorializing. Let's go to the UPC code. 3131, 31, 31, 31, 31. Keep an eye on me, make sure I don't make a mistake. 2, there's 18, which is 8. 7, 0, 0, 0, 0, 6, 2. So this is Weber's horseradish mustard. What is their UPC code that is on the bottle of mustard? Well, let's see. If I add across the left to right, I have 7 and 2 is 9, and 8 are 17, and 7 is 24, and another 8 would be 32. Let me see if I can add and get the same thing going the other way. Okay, let's see. So that's 8 with 7 is 15. 15 and 8 is 23, 24, 25, and 7 is 32. So what does 3x have to end in? It has to end in a what? An 8. So what number times 3 ends in an 8? Well, 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. Look at that. X has to be 6. All right? So since x is 6, 3 times 6 is 18. 32 added with 18 gives me 50. It checks out. So x has to be 6. Here x had to be 2. I will give you one of each of these on the quiz coming up. Hopefully you know how to do them just real well, and that'll give you some points. All right, there are 2 more here. All right, I'm thinking I might have the answers here. Let me see if I do. I think I do. So those 2 answers should be, it was those 2, I believe, right there. So you should have gotten x equals 8. I think this one up here is the credit card, yes. So you should have gotten x equals 8 and x equals 7, okay? So there you are. So you know those are going to be on the test. Hopefully those will help you get a good grade. Excuse the cold coffee sip. All right, so we have completed everything I wanted you to try on 13. But I thought, what the heck? We'll take a couple minutes and let's go back. I have another sheet I had put together over here that I was supposed to use to help me check your homework when you came to class. So I thought I'd go through these real quick with you again, like we did the other day. So here we go. All right, which computation of those 4 there is correct? Is 8 to the 3rd power 6 mod 10? Well, what is 8 to the 3rd power? Well, if you can't remember, let's turn on the calculator and find out. 8 caret 3 is 512. 512 mod 10 should be equal to what? Should be equal to 2 mod 10. So that's no good. A's no good. Let's look at B. What's 5 times 12? 60. What's 60 plus 30? 90. 90 ends in a 0. Same thing as 0 mod 10. Looks like B's okay, right? Is C all right? Or what's wrong with it? Well, it's 39 when I multiply it out. I divide it by 5. 7 times 5 is 35 with a remainder of 4. This says 3, no good. On a mod 10 clock, 11 hours past 5 is what time is it? 0? 11 hours past 5 would be 16 o'clock. In mod 10, that would be 6. That's no good either. So it was choice B. You will be asked some questions about clock arithmetic on this test. So be ready to realize that that's going to happen. The next 3 consecutive Luca numbers after 843. What is the next number? Excuse me. What is the number prior to 843? Here are 3 consecutive Lucas listed. How would I get that? It's the one before it. Well, wouldn't it plus 843 have to give us 1364? So if I take 843 away from it, 1, 2, and 5, it should be 521, right? Okay, let's go on. 3, if a single layer of paper is folded 14 times, how many individually stacked sheets of copy paper should have the same or equal height? All I need to do is do what? A power of 2, exponential growth. 2 caret 14, 16,384, which is choice D. Which number that follows is not rational? A is definitely rational, it's got a fraction. B is definitely rational because it's got a terminating decimal on it. And D terminates, but you know pi doesn't terminate and it doesn't repeat. It goes on forever. So your correct answer is pi. Choice C. Which number that follows is a rational number? Okay, well, I didn't use bar notation to help us out here, did I? So looking at those, I think you can see that A has a growing pattern. 316, then it's 3166, then it's 3 1 and 3 6s. So the 6s are increasing. It is definitely an irrational number. But notice in B, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38 forever. That's a rational number. And of course, phi, you know, is irrational. So the correct answer is B. Which number that follows is irrational? Well, it's not A because it's 26, 26, 26, 26 forever. That's a repeating decimal, no good. It isn't B because 2581 finally begins to repeat later in the number, so it would go on to infinity because of the bar notation. And of course, my crazy arrow that's on there tells you what? This number goes on forever. This decimal, it's all over the place. Therefore, it is irrational. What type or types of numbers is 94? Well, it certainly isn't imaginary. It certainly is real, right? Okay. Is it irrational? No, I don't think so. Is it whole and irrational? No, if it isn't irrational, it can't be whole and irrational. So guess what? It's all of these. It's rational, it's an integer, it's a whole number, it's a natural number, and it's a real number. Which number types identify the number below? Well, it appears to have, going on to infinity, to have a growing pattern in it, right? 315, then 3155, 3135. All right, so therefore it can't be rational. It's definitely real. So it's got to be choice C, right? It is irrational and real. Which of the numbers below here is rational? Well, it doesn't appear to be that first one because it's got a growing pattern, goes to infinity. All right, can't be that one. How about B? Gee, it's negative, but that's okay. It's got a bar notation in it, drinking notation, 0.65, 65, 65 forever to infinity. C, D, and E all have arrows after them. And to me, what do arrows mean that you're supposed to understand? They go on forever. They are all over the place. They are not rational. They are irrational. So the correct choice is B. What's the exact value of the golden ratio? Once again, I keep hitting you with that. It is 1 plus square root of 5 all over 2. State the golden ratio as a decimal rounded to 6 decimal places. Phi is 1.618034. You know that already. Viewing the two numbers behind the arrows, which statement is true about the number that's called M? Now, the first thing you got to decide is M between them? And what kind of number is M? Well, if you look at M, it has a growing pattern on it. The ones are increasing, right? So it's definitely an irrational number. Now, is it between those? 6.431? The fourth decimal place is definitely not between the two. So this is an irrational number that is not between the numbers shown behind the arrows, right? So it should have been choice D. Look at 13. Viewing the numbers behind the arrows, what's true about this number? Does it have a growing pattern on it again? Definitely has the 3 dots, goes to infinity, so it certainly isn't rational. It's got to be irrational. Is it between them? I believe you can see that it is, because this would be 1, 0, this would be 2, 0. And here we have 5, right? 1, 5. So it definitely would be between them. So this is a what? An irrational number that is between the numbers behind the arrows, which is choice B. I give you these questions just to make you think a little bit. Viewing these two numbers behind the arrows below, which statement is true about the number called Y? Notice it starts out with a 6, 9 after the decimal point, but then it's 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5 forever. That means it's what? Rational. Now, is it between them? Well, it looks like it is, right? Looks like it is. 2, 5 is between 20 and 30, so I think we're okay. So this is what? A rational number that is between the arrow numbers, okay? All right? Okay, so that didn't hurt us to review that a little bit for a couple minutes, and that's why I wanted to go through that with you. Okay, you also were asked to complete the sheet called 15. I'm trying to get up to it. Okay, it's going to take me a while here going this way, but I'll get there. Let's see, is it on this worksheet? It may not be. It may not be. Oh yeah, it's here. Okay, so let's go up here. Sorry about the wait for you. There it is. Okay, so this is 15. I ask you, I believe, I'm sorry, we don't want 15, we want 16, don't we? Okay, 16's on here, I know it is. There it is right there. Now, on 16, you were supposed to have done the back, correct? Do you think you have problems like 7 and 8 down now? Let's just walk through what the process is. You take the two numbers, add them together, and divide by 2. Once you get that answer, okay, you know that's rational. So you've got your rational number already. When you go to the second part of the question here, you have to turn it into an irrational number, either by putting an arrow on it, putting a bunch of numbers on it that are all over the place, showing that it goes on forever, but make sure you put the 3 dots, or you can simply put an arrow after your answer, which is a Kellyism, which tells me that you know that number would have to go on forever, okay? So I don't think we need to go over those. We just reviewed them very well, okay? Now let's just take a minute to look at these. How do you convert those fractions into their decimal equivalents? You take the top, you put it in your calculator first, and you divide it by the bottom, all right? Look at 12, please, okay? In problem 12, statement E or question E would be what? 5 and 72 over 99. There are 2 repeating numbers there. F would be 2, right? And there are 3 numbers repeating there. So you put 036, or you can just put the 36 if you want, over 999. And for G, you would use -2, and I'm going to leave this arrow off. I would put the 495 over what? 4 9s. Are you required on the test to reduce those? No, you are not, okay? Now, let's go over and see if I have the answer key to this sheet, and I believe I do. So here are some examples that work for the first 2 up at the top there. All right, you know that we said we didn't have to do anything with the first one. The second one, I don't know if my picture's blocking it or not, but make sure you have 3 dots on the end if you decide to use 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and all that. All right, and here are the answers down towards the bottom. I reduced these, but you don't have to do that, all right? But we had the numbers right, 495 over 4 nines, 36 over, 36 should be over 3 nines. That should not be a 0 there. That should be 3 nines. Okay, and I believe it does reduce correctly to 2/55, but I honestly don't know. I can't believe it does. Okay, it should be 36. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm incorrect. You can't use the Kelly's cheater method to do this, and this is probably wrong. So I'm sorry. So no, we can't do that. Now, I don't remember if the problem I gave you that I sent home with you or not, if it had a 0 without the bar over it. I assumed I put the bar over it. If I didn't, you can't use the Kelly's cheater method to do it. Okay? Don't worry. The one on the test, you can use the Kelly's cheater method. All right, 13. I got that X would have to be 8. 8 times 7 is 56. It added to 34, all right, gives us the answer 8. All right, we have very quickly and hopefully to your satisfaction reviewed both sheets that I assigned, which were group work 13 and parts of group work 16. Now, the next 2 videos, okay, I made quite a while ago, and those 2 videos, okay, will help you also review for the test. So get your sheets out that I attached to your emails, okay? I believe it's COVID number 1, and I think it's COVID number 2, all right? And so make sure, no, I'm sorry, it's not COVID, it's group work virus 1 and group work virus 2. Make sure that you have downloaded those and are ready to go to work on them as we go through this in the next 2 videos. So away we go. And I want to wish you good luck on your test as well.